Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. Looks like it's live, so I'm gonna get started. In today's episode, I will be discussing the difference between auctions and listings, which is really a frequently asked question that clients and customers ask, is the difference between auctions and listings and what would best fit their farm. Also, I'm just really curious for anyone watching, or if you watch this recording later on, give this video a like if you have ever been to an auction before, whether that be as a kid, you followed your grandpa or grandma around to a farm auction, to just buying land, if you bought land before on any online or live auction. Give this video a like, and I just curious who all has experienced the auction setting and has been to either farmland auction, machinery auction, personal property auction, anything that type of selling. So like I said, in this video I'm going to talk about auctions versus listings, but first I do just want to briefly mention that if you're thinking about selling, the first step that you should really be taking is just gathering information about some of the companies that you're looking at hiring. Selling land is a huge process, and you only really get one chance at it. And I mean, if you're selling $1 million farm and you only get one chance at doing it, you want to make sure you're doing it correctly. You're hiring the right auction professional, the right brokerage company, and making sure you're off to a good track and a good start. That way you can result in a good sale and success for that piece of land. So when you want to pick out a right company for yourself and even the auctioneer or agent for that land, if it were me, I would kind of vet through and find about 3 different companies that you're interested in learning more. Request information from them. Definitely dive in and look at their past sales, any testimonials that they have, any free educational resources, blogs. I know we have a blog site, ebooks. We do free market analysis for our customers. So definitely don't limit yourself to just one company, or if someone recommends you just to one person, I would really recommend finding at least 3 companies that you think would best suit your type of land or what you're trying to sell, and vet them out and then decide what would be the best fit for you. Have a phone call with them, chat with them over email, ask several questions before you sign a listing or an auction contract and start the journey of selling your land or your farm. So with that, I did just want to mention that an informed seller is really a successful seller. We say that all the time at Dream Dirt, and that's why I do these videos, is just to educate landowners on the options that they have when it comes to selling land. You definitely don't have to hire me. I would be glad to help you out though. I am an auctioneer and I'm a licensed real estate agent in Iowa, and Dream Dirt does online land auctions, live auctions, and listings as well. So without further ado, I am going to jump in with auctions and the benefits and just the features about what auctions are. So a lot of you probably are picturing an auction as people gathering in a room and the auctioneer is chanting away, taking bids, and that's typically your live auction. That could be for land or for farm equipment. We've also this year has really introduced online land auctions. In fact, though, Dream Dirt has been doing online auctions for about 10 years now, so we've really been the pioneer of our online land auctions. Whether it be online or live only auctions or a combination of both, these features all apply to auctions that I'm going to cover. So the first one that I want to mention is that auctions have a set auction date, and you'll see on our website that our online land auctions have a set closing date. So today we have a farm selling and it's set to close at 2 p.m. And on today's date, which is, oh man, October is flying by so fast, October 6th. So about 40 days ago, we decided to set that auction for October 6th at 2 p.m. Bidding has been open for 30 days or so. That's our typical, is 30 days. So people have been bidding and it'll end today at 2 p.m. So this just creates momentum and competition between bidders because they have that set date that they got to get their bids in. They got to get their max price in that they're willing to bid. And an auction creates that competition for bidders to get in, place their bids, and kind of work up a ladder. So if one person starts at 1,000, then the next at 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, all the way up until the time runs down, which I mentioned is 2 p.m. for most of our online land auctions. Now tomorrow we have a live and online auction for 800 plus acres in Carroll and Greene County. And with the live auction, it has a set date as well, a starting date of tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we've advertised it for 30 plus days, but bidding will begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. But everyone has that idea in mind that it has a start date, this is the auction date, this is when it begins, or this is when it ends, unlike a listing, which I'm going to talk about later. The second one is that with an auction, the bidders really price your farm. And a really good example of this is actually with an acreage. It was 19 acres in Lee County that Dream Dirt sold last week. And it was an acreage. It wasn't even a huge piece of farmland. It was 19 acres with a house and I believe a shed or barn. And the sellers were actually really excited that they did an auction instead of a listing because they achieved $70,000 more than what they expected and 70,000 more than if they were just to list it because they had no idea that people around really wanted to bid on this property and reach that max result that we sold it for with our online land auction, and that was just for 19 acres and an acreage. So our online land auctions truly work for a lot of different properties, and it just, like I said, it creates that momentum for bidders to get in and place bids on your farm and just work up the ladder, work up the scale, and it is truly the best way to find the market value of your farm. I know that we give out market analysis to our customers, to our sellers who are interested. And we do try to give a rough estimated price on the value of your farm, but auctions truly find that market price, that high price that people are willing to bid on your farm and pay for it. And that's also where I want to point out that auctions set record prices, not listings. I don't think you ever really see a record selling listing price. Records are definitely set at auctions, and my broker, Auctioneer Jason, has told me that before, and I think he commented that on a video before. So if anyone has questions or wants to talk about auctions and listings, feel free to comment on this video, and I'd be glad to answer them today during the live video or afterwards as well. So moving on, auctions, you as a seller set the terms and conditions, which is a major plus. And the property can be sold as is, where is, which is a huge difference between auctions and listings. Auction, the seller is in control of the terms and conditions that the bidders have to agree to. This means the auction date, the closing date, the terms and conditions of the auction. There's no contingencies, the earnest money that'll be due. All those little details are set by the seller in an auction. One thing I do want to mention about our online land auctions that we hear a lot of feedback from too as well. This is the last thing that I'm going to cover about auctions, and then I'm going to move into listings. But with our online land auctions, what's truly so unique about them is that we often hear from bidders that they don't really like online auctions because they'd rather show up live and look the person straight in the eye who they're bidding against and try to win the farm from just putting social pressures on them to quit bidding, because our online land auctions are producing such great results for our sellers. And that's where we at Dream Dirt, we really care about our sellers. We're seller focused, we're seller driven, and we want to achieve the most money for our sellers. So with our online land auctions, bidders actually will bid more and hit that bid button typically more than what they would bid at a live auction, because there's just so many social pressures. Like I mentioned, how would you feel if you were sitting in a room wanting to bid on a farm, and then there's this a family member, someone from church also bidding on the farm against you, and they were looking you straight in the eye and really just saying like through emotions and just through body language telling you to, hey, maybe you should back off and not bid on the farm. As a seller, that can be a little weary because you're wanting to achieve the most money for your land. And if bidders are kind of backing off and not wanting to bid at a live auction because of the social pressures, that would raise a red flag to me if I were a seller. And that's why I want to mention that our online land auctions are the most powerful way to sell land, and we've been doing it for several years now. We're not new to the business of online land auctions. We actually have our own bidding platform, and we just updated our website last week, I believe. You can check it all out. All of our online land auctions are at bid.dreamdirt.com, and you can check them out there. If you are curious about the difference between online land auctions and live auctions, I can give you more information about that. We have ebooks about secrets to selling for land auctions and online. And I just have so many good resources, and I can also cover that in an online versus live auctions episode later on as well. But let's move into listings and talk about the features and benefits of those. With the listing, just to give you an idea of what it would look like, you're probably picturing someone putting a sign in the yard for sale, and then going to the website and seeing a price of how much that farm is listed for. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a listing. The land is for sale and it's set for a certain price and it's open for offers. With the listing, the marketing and advertising are not any different compared to our auctions, at least at Dream Dirt. With an auction and listing, you are getting the same advertising and marketing there. The only difference is that the auction has a start and end date, and the listing just has a price instead of all the dates attached. So then with that, with a price, you know how I mentioned it, for auctions, bidders really achieve that high price and they can work their way up this scale. And with auctions, there's really no cap. Like, you can't cut a bidder off and say, no, we don't want you to bid above 100,000, like a listing, where if you were to list your farm for $100,000, and then buyers would come in and offer you less. They would offer 95,000, 90,000, and they would work down. So with a listing, you kind of run into troubles there, especially if someone was willing to pay over $100,000 and really maybe push up to 150,000 or so. Like I mentioned, in that acreage that we sold last week, we achieved $70,000 more than what the seller expected it to bring and what they would have listed their acreage as. If they did for sale by owner as a listing, they would have offered it that $70,000 less and accepted a price there. So that's just something to consider. With a listing, you're always going to work down, and then you have to negotiate, and it takes a lot of time. But I am a licensed realtor, and that's something that I am good at as well, is going through and going through offers that buyers present and explaining all their contingencies and their terms and conditions to you as a seller, since the buyers set those terms and conditions and contingencies. So that's one thing I also am good at. I'm a realtor and auctioneer, so I understand both auctions and listings. So I hope I've really covered that part, is that auctions, you can work up and there's no cap price, and you can work up, up, and up, and you never start at 2,000 with one bid and then work your way down, and then 3,000 work your way down. You always climb the ladder. With listings though, a buyer can come in and offer you $8,000 an acre. And if you counter offer that and then they don't accept that offer, well, then you start at zero until someone else walks through the door, presents an offer, and then what if their offer is only $7,500? Then you're starting from scratch again, and it's a lot of hassle, it's a lot of back and forth. Unlike an auction, you have a set date, you know when this is going to happen, and it really creates momentum. So bidders get in and bid, submit their price that they're willing to pay for the farm. Listings typically take a few more days, could even draw out to a few months for people to really be interested. So with that, I'm going to move into my next point about listings that sometimes investors and 1031 exchange buyers like to look at listings a little bit more than auctions just because they see that set price and they can calculate their return rate on that and all the different investment tools that they use to see if it would be a good investment purchase. So sometimes investors and 1031 exchange buyers do like seeing a set price instead of waiting till auction day to see what that max bid would be. I'm just looking at my notes quick because I want to stay on track and make sure this video is concise for everyone. Looks like I covered about everything except for listings. If it is an acreage with a house on it, it's typically going to require a few more open houses. It's going to be people wanting to approach and see the house just like that. They could pop up, and obviously we wanted to be able to show the house to them as soon as possible so they would get in an offer. So with a listing, it just requires more time, open houses. With an auction, if you have a house on an acreage, like I mentioned last week, we did really well with that acreage. Had 1 or 2 open houses, I believe. Our agents, James and Shanna Sprinkle, were the agents on that and had an open house. It was set for a date and for a time frame, and it was done and out the door. So like I said, that's a lot of differences between auctions and listings. And for the majority of farmland, I personally would recommend an auction first. And if you're nervous about auctions, don't be. They are really a positive thing now. Maybe way back when auctions were looked at a little negative because they were just a fast and easy way to get land sold if you were in debt or something and just needed it done and over with. If banks were trying to sell farmland, but auctions really are a positive atmosphere right now. It's producing such great results for our sellers, I know, with our online land auctions. Again, our Dream Dirt auctions are so safe, they are risk free, and it's just a great opportunity for sellers to have total control about the price in their auctions. At Dream Dirt, we do not sell farmland until we have the seller's confirmation to do so. And with our online land auctions, once we achieve that price, that bid price, we do announce that to our bidders and we let them know that the seller has confirmed the sale of the auction and that the farm will trade hands. And typically this spurs a couple more bids that will come through. So I just want you to understand, as a landowner and you're looking to sell your land, our online land auctions, our live auctions, they are so safe and risk-free because we only charge commission. We don't charge any other marketing and advertising fees, especially if you got that 80 acres or more of farmland. You get the standard basic package of marketing that we include for free. And then we can also always include or negotiate other additional marketing and advertisings, like radio ads or some more special type things. We can definitely add that in as well. But with that, if you don't agree to the highest bid on auction day, there's still no fear, and it still creates an opportunity to receive offers to come in because we just ask for a 60-day period to list your farm at the price you're looking to achieve and to get the deal done without charging you any extra fees. It's still just a commission. We don't raise a commission. We don't charge you any no sale fees or anything. So with that, if you're worried about what your bid might be on auction day, we still just move into a listing period. And typically we can get the deal done with the bidders in about just a few hours after the auction or 24 hours after the auction actually ends. So it's truly a risk-free option for our sellers. I'm not sure why someone wouldn't want to try selling with our online land auctions. We have several testimonials on our websites of how they've just proven to work so well. And one other thing I just want to wrap up with this video is that many sellers think that it'd be good to list their farm first, and then if no offers come through or it's just taking forever, then they want to switch to an auction and get it done, have a set date, and accept the highest bid. We've seen this a lot. I guess not a lot, but we've seen this happen before, and it's not something new to us because there has been sellers that have approached us that wanted to do a listing and then switch over to an auction. And this kind of doesn't create the best results, even though I think that online auctions are producing the greatest results. But when you go from listing to an auction, the bidders already know that price that you're looking to achieve in their head, and kind of have just some perceived notations about you as a seller and what you're trying to accept for your farm. So it's hard to switch from listings to auctions. It's easier to switch from auctions and move into a listing if you don't accept the highest bid on auction day. So do want to mention that if you're thinking about selling farmland, auctions will produce the greatest result for you, is what I truly believe. And if you don't accept the highest bid on auction day, we can move into a listing and then negotiate farther. But why not start with an auction first? You as a seller get to set the terms and conditions. You have a set date. It creates competition and momentum. It creates excellent auction results and sold prices. And if you're still a little weary about the word auction, I can offer you another way of selling land. It's called an accelerated listing. If you have questions about how that works, feel free to contact me and I can walk you through that as well. But I hope this kind of clarifies the differences between auctions and listings from an auctioneer and a realtor point of view. Like I said, I truly just do these videos so there's educational information out there for landowners. These videos are free to everyone to watch. This is episode 5. So if you've missed 1 through 4, they are all in my videos tab and they are pre-recorded from when I did them live on Tuesdays at noon. And I hope harvest is going well for everyone. I know family back home in Dallas County is really hitting it hard. And I just hope everyone stays safe out there. I know farming can be really tough and that accidents can happen. So please just stay aware to tractors on the road and send a few prayers to all the farmers out there and their family members. And I hope everyone stays safe during this harvest season. One last note, I'm making a very special announcement later today. I will have a Facebook post that goes out, so stay tuned on my Facebook page. I'm really, really excited for it. And like I said, if you have any questions or would like to talk to me, my phone is always open and my number is 515-954-8063. Thanks, everyone.